The number of guys who like their opening line is like, you should invite me over. And I'm like, why are you homeless?
I hate that.
Like, do you need a place to stay? Do you want me to get like, should I
call someone?
Do you want me to call Central Intake? Like they can probably place you tonight.
Yeah. I hate that so much. Or like we should watch a movie. Your place? Is like,
no, not happening. Welcome to another episode of the Naughty Podcast. I am your host, Elle Harlow, and with me as always is...
Tiana Sage.
Sweet baby T. Today we are going to talk about how to start your financial journey. Cha-ching. How is your financial literacy?
My what?
Do you invest your money?
Oh, okay. So I actually don't. I actually do not do that. But I took, it was like a whole month's thing. So I was actually hired as a insurance agent and I had to get my license. But when you do your insurance license, you learn about everything. And a really good way to invest your money is through insurance agencies.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because they, you can find, like, you'll get insurance, but you also can invest money in like stocks and bonds and all of this like crazy things. I was learning so much stuff about how the rich get richer. It's insane. And then the job turned out to be an MLM, and then I didn't continue with the job. But it's okay because I got my license anyways, and they paid for it for some reason. Beautiful. And it was so I'm insured to be licensed to be an insured person. Okay. I don't say it right, but I'm there.
Fair. I love that. That's a party.
Yeah, but I know about all of it, and I'm intrigued. But like up until like last week, I had $2 to my name. So,
I spent $500 today before 2 p.m. and I woke up at 9:45.
Wow.
I was making it rain.
Love that for you.
I own some stock.
Oh, okay. Proud of you. We love that.
In 2021, I was dating this guy who was big into, like, he was like obsessed with his like Wealth Simple account. Okay. And he was buying all kinds of shit. And one of the stocks he bought was for this like hallucinogenic like mushroom company.
Just shut up. Oh my God.
I was like, I fucking love mushrooms. So I spent $50 of my CERB money.
Stop it.
And I bought $50 because the stock dipped and it was like pennies on the dollar for the stock. Yeah. So I bought $50 worth of this stock, and I forget about it for like a while, and then I'll be like, oh yeah. And I'll re-download the app, and I'll be like, it's worth like $98 right now. I've almost doubled my money.
Oh,
and then like 6 months will go by, and I'll be like, right, I own mushrooms. And I'd be like, it's worth 48 cents. Like, no, it's very unstable.
That's so stressful.
I mean, it was $50 the government's money. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, I guess. That's so funny. That's one thing about stocks that freaks me out. Apparently bonds is much less stressful. Yeah. Though. But yeah.
That's why you have to diversify your portfolio.
I learned about that as well.
I mean, I don't even have a savings account technically. I do. I have a savings account, and I divvy up all of my money into different savings accounts. So I have like my vacation savings account, I have my tattoo savings account. I have my like in case shit happens savings account. I have I'm just moving it into this account so I don't spend it savings account.
Love that for you.
So yeah, like my money is well organized. There's just not a lot of it.
Yeah, $5 here, $10 here.
Well, and like I am the keeper of the gold for my household, so everyone sends me their rent.
You're the treasurer.
I am the treasurer.
Love that.
I am Smaug.
Yeah, love that for you.
I hate it.
Oh, hate that for you. Because
I will 100%. Like I went to Boston and I definitely ran out of money, and I definitely like dipped into that.
You did not.
I did.
You're a bad treasurer.
I was embezzling.
You were embezzling funds for your Boston trip.
I put it right back. Wow. I like literally.
This just in. This just in. She's embezzling funds. Get her. The FBI just crashes through that one window.
Stewart, we're gonna be besties.
Oh my God! Stop. You guys can talk about laying down paper towels and vinegar.
We're going to talk like cleaning and cooking.
Yeah, I love this for you. Man, I want to join. I want to embezzle.
It was only $150 and I put it back within 24 hours.
Oh, so like it never happened.
Yeah, it was like, and it was literally because I was like, I'm just afraid that all of the foreign exchange fees are going to hit my account at the same time and like annihilate me down to zero.
Right.
So I like threw that in as like a buffer.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I would hate to go like get breakfast in the morning and they're like declined. I was like, fuck.
They take you away in handcuffs. Like,
These
these hash browns are not free.
It's the States. They might.
Yeah,
like,
I guess that's true.
Stupid crazy about stuff down there.
That's fair.
What do you think is the biggest barrier to becoming financially literate?
That is a hell of a question, isn't it? I mean, I guess at first, like, you have to care about it. I know a lot of people, especially nowadays, that don't give a fuck about their financial situation. They're just kind of like, man, I'm on this earth for a short while. You might as well make it good.
Like, my world's on fire. How about yours? Let's
I have
go spend
like
our
4
money.
friends that have been bankrupt before 22, you know? So, like, I don't think I'm a good person to ask that question.
Okay, so as someone who is a fully fledged adult with a RRSP.
Oh my God, I love that. Mommy.
Never call me that again.
I know, I was going to say, like, you did not like that one.
I had a very invasive surgery to make sure no one would ever call me that. I think the biggest thing is that nobody wants to talk about money.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like after CERB and after the economy being what it is, a lot of people are just kind of like, fuck that. Like, we're not talking about anything.
Yeah, I mean, but like going back, so like we talk about this so much because like how we were raised, as you've said before, is so impactful on who we become as human beings. And so like my mom, single mom, my dad fucked off. We were constantly chasing him for child support. He came up with this like bogus, like I remember being in court and he came up with this like, this bogus like budget of what it costs him to live every month. And I remember my mom like was like reading it to me and she's asking me questions about it. And
you had to be, how old were you?
I was like 11.
Why the fuck were you in court?
Because that was how they did it back in the day. Oh, wow. I like was there for like everything.
My mom also had a restraining order on my dad, so maybe that's why I never had to be in there.
Could be.
Yeah, they didn't go in court. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, so like my mom was like, had this whole list and I was being like asked questions like, do you ever see your dad like drink a beer?
Right.
And it's like, yeah. And my dad had put that he spent like zero money every month on like alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Do you ever see your dad smoke cigarettes? Yeah. And he put zero, like, so he lied.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And like, I was like the only person that they could ask who would be impartial. Because I was a kid, right?
You're 11 years old.
Like, kids aren't going to lie. Like,
well,
they are, but like not, I just, the judge is like, so, it's really important to tell the truth. And I'm like, like terrified.
Okay, Mr. Judge.
I'm like, oh God.
I feel like kids now, like preteens nowadays, they're on something else. They'd be like, okay. And then like fucking lie.
Yeah. So I grew up watching my mom with her very fluctuating income because she worked a bunch of jobs all the time, none of the time. Like, it was just like a constant series of hustles. And like I said, we couldn't rely on my dad to pay child support on time or the right amount or this or that, or, or sometimes like he would take me out and buy me like school supplies from like the dollar store and then try to like be like, well, I bought her all of her school supplies for the year, so I'm not paying child support this month.
Oh my God.
Like he would always be pranking.
Yeah.
So I remember watching my mom. She had just like normal envelopes.
Right.
And on the envelope would be written all of the like utilities.
Right.
So like hydro, phone, cable, whatever. And so then every month there would be a date. So we'll say like October. And written in blue was the amount that was paid. Written in black was the amount that was owed. Written in red would be the amount that was remaining owing. So like if it was $50 and she could only put 40, so she'd write 40 in blue, 50 in black, and then 10 in red, and then she had a green clicky. And then if she managed to get over, she would write what her overage was.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I watched her do this for years. And so then fast forward, I'm an adult. I'm living on my own. I am like living in a place that I could barely afford. And I just wanted to make sure I was doing things right. So I had a bulletin board in my kitchen with all my fucking envelopes on it. And my mom came over for like Thanksgiving dinner. I was cooking.
I love that for you.
And she saw the envelopes and my mom like burst into tears.
Aww.
I was like, why are you
crying?
I'm like, why are you crying? And like my mom cries over really silly things.
Same.
And I was like, why now?
Yeah.
I'm like, is it because I'm cooking? Are you afraid?
It's not that bad, I promise.
I promise I'm really
it's not
good.
burnt.
It's not raw either, I promise.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I saw your envelopes. And I was like, eh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, yeah. It's a really good way of like keeping track of what you've paid.
Right.
And she's like, I was just so embarrassed that I had to do that when you were a kid. And like, I didn't know that you knew. And like, so now I'm like really embarrassed. And I'm like, why? It taught me how to budget and pay bills.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
like, because she never sat with me.
She took that really deep, yeah.
Yeah, because she never sat with me and was like, this is how you pay bills when you don't make a lot of money.
Right.
I just like learned from observing.
Yeah.
And she was all like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, why?
Hey.
All my bills are paid.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone gets everything they want, but everyone gets something.
Yeah. Interesting.
You know?
It's kind of funny.
And like, that's my mom. Like,
Yeah.
she's supposed to be teaching me financial literacy.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, that's a huge point. Parents are the ones that are, well, I mean, the parents are the ones that's supposed to teach you a lot of things.
Yeah. But parents
you
should not, like, I feel like in school, we need to bring back, like, teaching kids about, like, finances in school. And driving.
God.
Because parents should not be teaching their kids about money or how to drive. Because they are too invested in their car.
My dad was not. My dad put me, I was like 4 years old, and I was like, or maybe not 4, maybe like 6, and I was on his lap, and I would hold on to the steering wheel, and he would do like the pedals, and I was like driving like around like.
Yeah, I feel like everybody has done that. Like,
yeah.
I know I definitely did that, but that's different than when you were like a full-bodied teenager.
Yeah. They put me in driving school for that.
Yeah,
they didn't teach me a thing.
My mom took me out for one driving lesson.
Yeah.
And very quickly registered me for driver's ed.
Yeah. Because there's people that are paid to do that, and they have like the brakes on their end.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like they can like slam on that shit if they need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we should bring back a huge thing too is like taxes and like how to do your taxes and like
100%.
how to invest and all that shit would be huge, even in math class or whatever, or
Yeah.
like just finance class.
Social studies.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
Being, as old as the Crypt Keeper.
Love that.
There's so many things that I see on like social media that I'm like, I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. What?
Like, are you an actual human asking this question? Because like, whoa, dude. And then I realize that I am just old.
But also, just in general, I feel like common sense isn't that common anymore. This is totally unrelated, but I was watching this woman talk about, and you probably saw this video, talk about how she, like when she's on her period, she makes bean soup. And she's a whole bunch of beans because it's really good for the iron and the protein.
Okay.
And this one comment was like, yeah, how do I make bean soup without the beans? And was like fully, like, she's like, I don't like beans. How do I make this soup? And it was like fully like serious. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And so it's like stuff like that. It's like you see things and like common sense is not that common anymore.
I've definitely seen like comment sections where it's like, I made this recipe, but I didn't have any sugar, so I substituted for salt, and it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
why was it so salty?
Yeah, I was like, because you put a cup of salt in it, like, bitch.
I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't have like cranberries or chocolate chips, so I just put carrots, and I don't know, it wasn't very sweet at all.
Yeah,
it's just like,
I mean,
I bet it wasn't.
I definitely feel like there are some people in the world who I worry about their well-being on a daily basis. Because I'm like, how did you fight your way out of the womb, bitch? Like, use gum.
It was accidental at this point.
At this point.
Yeah.
Like, you came out butt first, didn't you? Like, you couldn't even do that right.
My sibling had to be suction cupped out. She had
a pointy head?
They had a line on their head and a tilt. For like the
hilarious.
first like 4 years of their life, yeah.
Oh my God, I would have been terrible about that.
Yeah.
I'd have been so mean. Like that's my like.
I wasn't allowed to be mean, but I wanted to. Oh, I wanted to.
Because like mean is like that's like my baseline. Like I have to like coach myself to be nice. Because otherwise I'm just gonna be like ripping people new ones all the time.
Love that for you.
I've learned how to be nice. But yeah, I've seen like there's like Facebook groups where people can like ask for advice, and someone was like, I just moved into a new apartment and my landlord wants checks, and I got the checks, but I don't know how to fill them out. And I'm like, what?
How do you know?
What do you mean you don't know how to fill them out?
Yeah.
It gets all pretty self-explanatory.
It says on it, name, amount.
Yeah, right? I was
in
like,
words.
And like someone else was like, I mailed a letter and I put a stamp on it, but it came back saying like insufficient postage. And they have just like a picture of it. and they'd like had their hand like over the address. And it was just like a 5-cent stamp. And I'm like, where did you even find that?
Fair in the Valley Village? Like,
yeah,
where did
like,
you find
that on the ground?
That's old.
Like bubble gum? Like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's minimum amounts of postage that you need.
Mm-hmm. That's why some things have multiple stamps on it.
Yeah.
Queen.
I was like, holy shit.
So you just take it to the post office and you're like, I don't know. Here you go. And then they're
do
like,
the thing. Throw money at you. Like,
there we go. Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, they weren't a child.
No, that's a scary thing. Like, they have like questions like that. Oh my God. I was watching this TikTok and it was like a mid-20s person. And then they were like, I don't know. I think this is stupid, but I don't know. What do they mean when they say 2 cups of onions? I don't understand. And someone stitched it. And then he was like, so they mean you put 2 fucking cups of onions. And it's just the funniest thing ever. They're like, because the person was like, do you put the whole onion? How do you do 2 cups of onions?
Onions don't come in cups, they come in onions.
Yeah. I think you saw it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, the answer is simply just put 2 fucking cups of onions. It's the funniest thing ever.
I mean, that's like a whole other like podcast like day where it's like just people being insecure in the kitchen.
True.
But yeah, I definitely feel like I'm like, there's some people who've just been failed by society.
They've been dropped.
Or just like the cracks, they are in them. Like they have fallen through. I don't know how they've gotten this far in life, but I have no faith for them getting forward.
No.
Do you think there are different societal pressures for finances between men and women?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, I'm not one that has a lot of finances, so I'm not necessarily in the financial world. But I mean, the cost, like, in regards to what women versus men were paid for the longest time was different. I mean, still to this day, I feel like women can walk into an establishment for finances or even like freaking to buy a car. And that's like a huge like finance thing. And they just kind of aren't necessarily taken as seriously as a man with a little suitcase and his like outfit. You know what I mean? Yep. So I think it depends. I think it's probably getting better. But yeah, it's difficult. I mean, we weren't making as much money as we are now. Even still, there's probably a pay gap that's fairly
like there 100% is. And like when people talk about like, the pay gap and or like the wage gap, sorry, and they like to point out like, well, minimum wage is the same and like this and that and the other. And I'm like, that we're talking about lifetime earning.
Yeah.
And what they're like, what people are currently getting paid.
Yeah. Like minimum wage is minimum wage, but you're taking 2 salespeople, like probably earning 2 different things, or like CEO is probably earning 2 different things.
Exactly. And like, women are expected to like, take a year off when they have a baby. Men, like pat leave in Canada is like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, cool. So if you're looking at what someone makes in a year, so if that woman's been on mat leave for 9 months of those 12, and when you're on mat leave, you get, I think it's 55% of your pay.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to tell me that there's not a gap?
Yeah. It's interesting too. I was reading this story about like this guy that wanted to take longer of a pat leave, but he was only offered like 2 or 3 weeks, like not the full 12 weeks that you're saying.
Well, that's in Canada.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was a U.S. thing.
Yeah. Because in the U.S., I think women get 6 weeks.
Oh my God.
Unless they have private insurance.
Jesus Christ.
So like if you have like a real job, like like a job that gives you benefits and stuff, you'll get more. I think they might get 16 weeks, but in Canada you get a year.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because like a year,
48 weeks.
I mean, you can barely like walk until like what? Yeah. I mean, properly for like the next like week or 2. Yeah. And I don't know. I've never gone through it, but like
Well, and then like you take so your wife takes 12 months off.
Yeah.
Or 8.5 months off for whatever it is.
Yeah.
For mat leave, and then so let's say she was making $65,000 a year.
Right.
Because you're young, so you're like new in your career. So you realize, okay, take home for that is going to be what, $1,800 every 2 weeks. Okay, cool. So childcare is, if you're lucky enough to get into one of those places that's like $10 a day, which is impossible, you're looking at minimum $800-900 a week.
Yeah.
So if she goes back to work, you are paying out basically her salary every 2 weeks in childcare. And like most people, and like if she's just at home, like doing whatever makes it way cheaper. So like it's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
I also find like you're younger, so I feel like there's different conversations happening in like early dating.
Right.
But like men expect women to be like you got to live alone, you got to have your own car, you got to do this, you got to do that. Yet they're okay with like, yeah, I'm like 38 years old and I have 5 roommates. Like, because I don't know what the disconnect is.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like I live in a communal house.
Right.
Like, I have roommates.
Right.
And it's because I like to.
Yeah.
You know, and we get along really well and we all have vastly different schedules. So we're ships in the night.
Yeah.
Like I've been trying to do my one roommate's hair since April.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And tomorrow we actually have the day off together.
Yeah.
Like it's happening.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like her roots are like down past her ears.
Oh my God, especially since April. Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. I've never like experienced that necessarily. But again, though, I do live on my own and I do have my own car and I do have a good job. So I think when I say that, they're like, oh. So we never really have the conversation of like, oh, you live at home.
Yeah.
But also, I tend to talk to older people than me. So I'm like 23 and I talk to people that are older and they kind of just assume that I live at home still.
Right.
And then I'll be like, oh, I don't. And then they're like, like it's like,
oh my God, the number of like dudes your age who like slide into my DMs.
Oh God,
I'm
sorry.
I mean, it's fine. And they're like, so blah, 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 you should invite me over. And I was like,
no.
I
think that's why they want you to have your own place.
Yeah.
So that
I was like, how about you invite me over? Me and your mom will become best friends and I'll fuck your dad and then really screw your life up. Come in with some respect or don't come at all. Like your mom, dad, and I are going to be a throuple and we're going to kick you out.
There you go. Love that. I'm taking your room because I'm going to be your parents' unicorn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that for you.
I'm going to show your mom things your dad never could.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm using that.
Yep.
I'm saving that in my arsenal.
Take it.
Yeah.
Spread it around.
But yeah, I have not interacted with something that's like, I think, but then again, it's just an age difference, right?
Yeah.
I talk to older people. They just assume that I live at home. Yeah. And then they're like, it's flabbergasted when I tell them that I've been living alone since I was 19.
The number of guys who like their opening line is like, you should invite me over. And I'm like, why are you homeless?
I hate that.
Like, do you need a place to stay? Do you want me to get, like, should I
call someone?
Do you want me to call Central Intake? Like, they can probably place you tonight.
Yeah. I hate that so much. Or like, we should watch a movie. Your place? Is like,
No, not happening.
No, I'm autistic. Like, you can't get in my bed.
No,
I will have to change everything about my bed.
Well, maybe like I'm discovering that there's a possibility that I also have a touch of autism. Because like
I'm rubbing off on you.
Like, do not in my bed.
Yeah.
Away from my bed.
Yeah.
Do not boy stink my bed.
Even my best friend, I actually had a conversation with him the other day. I was like, even if he comes over, I'm like, you have to shower and change before you sit. And I've known him for 4 years. We live together. Like that's my ex. I'm like, no, like you have to.
My best friend comes over, and the first time she ever stayed at my house, I like gave her the pillows and like sent her to bed. And when I was
I like this already.
I'll send you the TikTok because I'm sure you're going to want to splice it in. So she leaves. I go in and like I'm so hungover, but I'm like, at least I got to do is like strip this fucking bed because, you know, like you can't have dirty sheets on the bed.
Right.
So I like pull the sheets off and I go to like, I pick up the pillow to take the pillowcase off, and her fucking eyelashes are stuck to the pillow.
On it. Oh my God.
I died.
Stop
I was laughing so hard I was crying.
That's so funny.
I obviously had to make a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
But even when she comes over, because all of my bedding is like baby pink and white.
Oh, I love that.
It's like a very girly little like sanctum.
Yeah.
And if I'm like when I'm like putting her into bed, I like take the white pillowcases and I like hand her makeup wipes. I like pluck her eyelashes off.
Please don't have this happen again.
Please, ma'am, don't soil my bed.
No, don't soil it. It's like when you like slam on the brakes too hard in the car and the face like hits the front thing and then there's like face left behind.
It's like the Shroud of Turin.
Oh God.
But okay, going back to like different like standards of financial literacy between the genders. Men, I feel like, expect women to have like 100% independence, while men expect other men to grow their bank.
Yeah.
So it's like you know, you sit down, you're talking to a bunch of guys and they're like, so what's in your portfolio? Blah, 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 blah. Like, what's your hustle? What's this? What's that?
Right. Oh God, not the word hustle.
And it's like,
sorry, I just traumatized there for a second.
It's all good. I apologize. Trigger warning.
Trigger word.
Hustle. But it's like
the hustle mindset.
It feels like men are encouraged to accumulate as much wealth because wealth equals power and power equals status. Whereas women are expected to just immediately be like basically you move out of your parents' house and you're 100% self-sufficient and just like ready, willing, and able to accept like a man into your home to take care of.
Interesting. That's an interesting point of view. I haven't like met that kind of energy yet, but again, you know, I'm still young. But also it's like I feel like that's just a certain kind of person that's just looking for someone to take care of them. Difference in age, you know, might be a huge one too. But like a lot of men are like, I want a mom, essentially.
Listen, I date men from like 26 to in their 50s.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Oh, true. But they'll still like, I think it's just a different mindset of like, they just, they want to date their mom.
I've literally gone out with like high powered, like Bay Street, like banker dude.
Yeah.
Who's like, so like, what neighborhood do you live in? Do you have roommates? Oh, you have roommates? Like, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Why? Because I live in the most expensive city in Canada.
Yeah.
And I choose to have roommates so I'm not house poor.
Interesting. I've never had that experience before. Yeah. But it's good. It's good to see that kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask this one, even though we've kind of covered it already. So we have the clip. Where do you think you are in your financial literacy journey?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a good question. I'm still so young, so I'm still like kind of at the beginning. I want to open a TFSA. And I want, that's kind of my plan.
That's my in case shit fucks up account.
Yeah, right? That's a good idea. Like I have money saved up, not a lot, but like I have a little bit of money saved up. I'm still paying off like my car and stuff like that. But for the most part, like I want to have a good retirement when I'm older. I went from not thinking that I had a future when I was like 14. I'm like, I'm going to live until I'm 27. And then, cause fun fact, I have BPD, and people that have BPD notoriously only live until they're 27.
I mean, like the vast majority of the 27 Club
right?
Whether or not they were diagnosed, they exhibit signs and symptoms of
100%. Yeah, like Mac Miller and all of that stuff. But yeah, so now that I'm like, you know, turning 24 and stuff, I'm like, okay, well shit, now I need a fucking plan. So it kind of, you know, I don't know, I want to plan for like retirement just in case and like have all of that fun stuff. So that's kind of my next plan, I guess. I don't know.
So beyond like a savings account and like, you know, actually picturing a future, what do you think is one step that you can take today to like improve your finances?
Stop ordering Uber Eats as much as I do.
Calling me out.
I order a stuffed crust pizza probably twice a week.
See? I
watched my mom wanted to watch The Whale, which is the and he ordered like 2 pizzas a night, and I didn't realize it was only like over like a span of a couple days, but I thought it was like a couple weeks at first because I wasn't picking up the clues, and I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I order so many pizzas.
I literally like I got home last night, there was dinner made for me, and I like took one look at it. I was like, I don't want to eat that.
Yeah.
Like Domino's.
Like just scrolling. Yeah. I get Little Caesars stuffed crust pizza because they have like the pepperoni and cheese stuffed crust, which is so good. So I get that. But if I want to start,
gives me heartburn just thinking about it, but it's so good.
Oh, the day that I get heartburn from those things, I think that's just going to be the end of it for me.
It's coming.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about like, there has to be a balance because you cannot live in this world day to day with like zero joy. And if everything you are doing is focusing on a future that is not guaranteed, what the fuck are you going to do when your number's up?
That's a huge thing too. I mean, I think that isn't guaranteed is a huge thing. There's so many like factors that can come in that changes the future, right? Like war,
like
just as running out
on the precipice of a fucking world war right now.
Literally, yeah, which is huge. Like we could run out of fossil fuels. We can run out of we can run out of literally fucking anything.
Like, God damn, Donald Trump could be elected again, and as a fucking fuck you to everyone around him, he could just hit the nuke.
Yeah.
Like,
they got a big red button somewhere that he can press.
Right? Like, nothing in this life is guaranteed. So yes, I am going to like plan marginally for my future.
Yeah.
but I'm going to enjoy the now much more.
Yeah.
If I want avocado toast, god damn it, I'm ordering it. Like that is
the
not
world
the
might be in a war next year. I'm having avocado toast.
Avocado toast is not the reason why I can't afford a house in Toronto.
Yeah, it's like those people that is like, don't get a coffee from Starbucks because that's why you can't afford a house.
Like my I don't like what that's my $6 like a day joy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't have a mortgage to pay because I can't buy a house.
Yeah.
So like fuck you, I'm getting my Starbucks.
Yeah, I think like my $6 drink is not stopping me from buying a $1.2 million house because it's all so expensive nowadays.
I don't think if I because I have the Starbucks app, so I can go through and I can see like every purchase I've made since I've had that app.
Yeah.
I bet you if I went through and added up every purchase I've ever made on that app, I would still not have a down payment.
No, there's no way in hell. You would have to have a lot of fucking coffees. Because what? A down payment for a house where I am is probably like $80,000.
Yeah, it's like probably the same here.
Because what's a down payment? Probably like 15%? Depends on where you are. Because even 10% is $80,000. I think
they expect 20 to 40% in Toronto.
Oh, I want to die.
Depending on your income.
Oh, I want to die.
If a house is $1 million,
that's you might as well just walk in front of an 18-wheeler at that point.
20% is like what, $200,000?
Oh my god. So
like,
I'm never gonna own a home.
No, me neither. Hey boomers, thanks for that.
I'm having a moment.
I think there needs to be
That's
very serious conversations. Because like one of the things that is really hindering the financial literacy, or not even financial literacy, just the finances period of, you know, people sort of like my age,
right,
late 40s and under, is the simple fact that we cannot build equity because the only way you can really build equity is by like purchasing, you know, you could have like a portfolio, whatever, but that's all on spec. That's all on speculation.
Yeah.
Because like if everyone bought stock in, I don't know, pink cups, and then suddenly everyone's like, oh, we're all going to sell because like we heard that blue cups are the next big thing. Suddenly that's not worth anything. And you bought something that's worth nothing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? So the only like tried and true way for someone to build actual fucking equity is through real estate. And we have these motherfuckers that are hoarding it like some goddamn dragon who owns 7, 8 properties.
I hate landlords. I'm sorry.
And it's like
I hate landlords so much. There
needs to be a law.
I agree with you. I don't mean to cut you off whatsoever, but I just got so hyped because I used to work somewhere and I worked with a guy and he is like middle-aged, like probably not even like low 40s or like mid 30s, like not even, you know, not even old. And he was working for fun because he owned so many places that he rented out that he did not need to work, but he worked for fun because he just sat around and smoked weed all day. So now he like manages.
And like, let me guess, he comes from like generational wealth.
I don't know his story. But he probably does. Like he probably does because I don't know how many properties he owns, but he's a landlord. And the moment that I found out that he's a landlord, I'm like, oh, I don't
stank dick energy.
I don't like landlords.
No.
I have really good landlords. It's a very nice couple.
Landlord.
However, the people that own like you said, like 7 places, and they just charge up the ass. And like you see like TikToks about it. It's like, oh, just are you low on money? Just become a landlord. Buy this place and you can charge up the ass, and it pays for your mortgage and that mortgage and blah blah blah. blah. And I'm like, oh my god.
There's one bitch on TikTok who was like teaching people how to be shitty landlords.
Yeah.
And I went for her hard to the point that she blocked me. So I made a spoof account. She blocked that one. I was making new accounts 3 or 4 times a day to harass her.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you are the reason people are killing themselves.
Because like it's so insane. I pay a good amount of rent. Like I don't pay a lot. I have my own like bachelor apartment. I pay $900, which is
that is unheard of.
Nothing. But the reason why is because my landlords, they're the cute young family, and they went through 44 applicants before they picked me because they don't feel the need to charge so much, and they wanted to find someone that wasn't going to take advantage of the fact that they weren't charging so much. I was young, I was a student, blah, blah, blah. There we go, bam. So, but everywhere around where I am, for what I'm like getting 1,600, 1,800,
in Toronto,
2,200.
I think you're looking at probably $2,000 for a bachelor.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I make good money.
Yeah.
And I could not afford to live alone in this city.
No.
I would have to have roommates.
I that would be, and I can't have roommates. I can't do it. So like I'm so lucky for my place.
I'm super lucky. Like the people that I live with like have been in my life for a really long time.
Yeah.
And it's super financially advantageous to all three of us.
Yeah.
That we live together.
Well, that's nice. I don't know anyone long enough like that to be able to move in with them.
Like I've known both of them for like 2009, 2010, respectfully.
Love that.
Yeah, so like a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you haven't been alive, like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was 9 years old.
Stop it.
I wasn't even a preteen at that point. But I don't know. Without roommates, life is impossible, especially downtown. Like it's insane.
Yeah, and like I'm not about moving. Like to me, it's all about like what is it worth to me. So like if I move to like I don't know fucking Aurora, I could probably find a bachelor apartment for $1,000.
Yeah.
But then I'm in fucking Aurora, and I've got like an hour.
You have to pay because you live there,
and I got an hour train ride to get to work every day.
Yeah.
And like if the weather's bad, that train ride is not a train ride, and now it's a bus. And like it's and like I want to go out. Well, there's like a $1,000 Uber home. Because I'm not going out in Aurora. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true.
Like where am I going? Like Moose Winooski's in fucking Newmarket?
Oh
like
my god,
not happening.
Yeah.
I actually don't think Moose Winooski's is in Newmarket. I think
Moose
it's in Barrie.
Winooski's. I've never heard of that before.
Oh, it's like a super like Canadiana Moxies or like
love that.
Yeah, like if it's your birthday, they make you wear like
oh my god, antlers. Like Montana's,
but like more family friendly.
Oh, okay. So you can't even like get publicly drunk there.
No, like you absolutely can.
Oh, okay.
But it's like there'll be like small children running around while you do so.
Oh.
That's the suburbs, baby.
Oh no, I know, but I live in an area where it's so not suburbs and suburbs at the same time because I live in like in a mini Toronto because everyone from Toronto that was like I want to get the fuck out of here moved to where I live, so that's why it's so expensive now. Yeah. But like there's places that you can go out but then the place
think about like the trashiest places like because you're
I live there.
Yeah, so think about like the trashy.
Don't dox me.
You've said it before. But yeah, just think about where like where like the trashiest folks go. And,
sure.
Like it's the ones where like there's probably like a $5 like house wine night.
Yeah. And
so like mom and dad go and they're getting like Schlitz.
Love that.
And like their kids are literally just running amok.
They're sticky. That's from something. And they're just running around.
I mean, kids are just always indiscriminately sticky.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Just for no reason. I think they excrete it at this point.
Probably.
Yeah.
My nose is always running.
Always.
For some reason.
Always.
And they don't feel the need to clean it.
No. Or if they do, it's like this.
And then they're sticky.
I
don't like the stickiness.
No, I don't like the sticky either.
No.
Okay. I am going to impart what I think is a little advice on how to not get discouraged in the current financial climate.
Oh, hit me.
And it's going to go back to what I said earlier. And it's like, tomorrow is not promised. Your future is not promised. So yes, plan for it. Don't stress about it. Live as well as you can without having to worry about what everybody else is fucking doing. Because like don't be on Instagram going, well, why is she like traveling everywhere? Because she's not.
But also, just a comment on that. If you're comparing yourself to social media, like stuff like that, it is insanely different than what they put on social media. 100%. There was someone talking about this where it's like, you wonder why these girlies are in Dubai all the time. It's because they're like, okay, well, I'm not going to talk about that side of things, but they're like doing things to be there. Yeah. So it's like, they're not just like, or they come from generational wealth, right? Yeah. Whatever. But you can't compare yourself working like, for $18 an hour to someone that is either having a deal to be somewhere like that or like they just have a private jet in their backyard. Yeah, like it's just,
it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you've got to comparison is the thief of joy. You have to find what makes you happy and you have to invest in what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because sis, tomorrow you get hit by a bus. Like,
I just had the Mean Girls fucking scene coming in my head there. But you're right.
And then you're going to come back from that and be really good at field hockey.
Yeah, literally. That's true. Jesus
but
Christ.
like invest in your happiness.
Yeah.
Don't get bogged down on like, what am I going to do in my future? Because you know what? You'll fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
money comes and goes. It's a very fluid thing.
Yeah.
Very fluid thing, you know, and there's always going to be, for the most part, there's going to be jobs out there that you can do to get more money. Like, I agree with that. It's kind of on the line though, because I feel like I know people that are with that be like, oh really, and then spend their entire life savings all in one day. So I feel like there's a balance.
Balance, like I said. But, like, yes, plan a little bit. Like think about you know, have it in case shit happens fun.
Yeah, but don't deny yourself the joy.
But also don't deny yourself, like, living.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, and take no shame in what it is you have to do to fucking make your ends meet. If that means you have to have a roommate, if that means, you know, you get a side hustle, if that means, like, you work one day a week slinging coffee at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like, as long as, like, you are taking care of you and yours, don't let anything else, like, stress you out. Yeah. Because the world's on fire.
Yeah. Sadly.
Tomorrow is not guaranteed.
No.
And it's like, you know what? You may have a really fat bank account, but nobody can spend it if the world's been nuked.
And you can't take it with you when you're dead.
No.
No.
Oh my God. I work with this guy. He's like 84. 84. He has been cutting hair for 70 years.
Oh my God.
And so like every week we get our tips in an envelope.
Yeah.
There was one year he did not open them up until the end of the year.
No way.
Yeah, because he needs nothing. He's lived in the same apartment since like the 60s.
Oh, so it's like $2.
It's and it was like it's like a fancy apartment in like Yorkville.
Wow.
So he pays $1,000 for a like one bedroom in Yorkville.
Good for him.
And you know, he's like, I saved my money. And he's very Italian. He's like, I saved my money. And he's like, what am I going to do when I'm old? And I'm like, Tony, you're old. What
are we going to do when I'm old?
You're old.
Bro.
Start spending your money.
I don't know, man. You got what, like 6 years left?
Seconds left. Start spending.
Yeah.
He has no children. He has, like, all of his siblings are, like, done.
Yeah.
Like, I think he has a couple of nieces and nephews he's, like, kind of close with.
Yeah.
But he's no one. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Go on a cruise for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Go find like a 23-year-old and like, you know, I don't know, do like, something.
Take some Blue Chew and call it a night. Like
Did you just Blue Chew?
Blue Chew. That's how you say it to get around having to pay them to use the word.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's like
love that.
Yeah, Blue Chew. Take a little Blue Chew, call it a night.
I'm like, blue chewing gum? Like, so.
Sorta.
Yeah. Jesus
Not
Christ.
really, but close.
Not really, no. I'm like, I feel like I'm wrong about this one, so.
Yeah, a little bit. It's okay.
Fuck.
It's okay. All right, folks, that's it for another episode of the Naughty Podcast. I am your host, as always, Elle Harlow. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Elle Harlow.
I'm Tiana Sage. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Tiana Sage.
Tonight, we started our journey towards financial literacy. Don't forget to tune in next week, and don't forget to follow the Naughty Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Naughty Podcast.
And YouTube.